Hi, I'm Pamela Salzman from the Kitchen Matters blog, and today I'd like to show you how to cook a whole fish and then debone it. So today I have some Branzino, or sometimes it's referred to as Mediterranean sea bass. And I buy them whole, but I have the fishmonger scale and gut it. So you can ask them to do that. If you just say, can you scale and gut it for me? They totally know what that means. So they've taken all the scales off and then they've taken all the guts out. So you definitely don't want to do that. The rest of this is very easy if your fish are already cleaned for you. So I'm going to do a very simple preparation of this, which I think is the best way to go with fish, especially a delicate white fish like this, because you just don't want to overwhelm it with like heavy flavors. So really, really light and clean and fresh. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to season the inside cavity of the fish with some kosher salt, and you're welcome to use sea salt if you want to, but you may not necessarily eat this part, and so what's the big deal if you use a little kosher salt? So take a pinch with your fingers and then sprinkle it on the inside, and this will help season the meat. And then another pinch for this one. And I'm just going to do 2 today, but you can easily multiply this recipe for any number. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is add in some lemon slices, and I'm going to use parsley. Sometimes I use fennel fronds, which are those top, like wispy, lacy pieces on the top of the fennel stem, and those are wonderful and give really nice flavor to the fish. I just happen to not have any today, but you can use those too. So take a few slices of lemon and then just put them inside the cavity like that, and then take a couple sprigs of parsley. I think this one's pretty large, so I'm going to use this all up. So really just light, clean flavors. And that's all, like that. If I do have more fennel fronds, I'll kind of put them on the bottom of the pan, and then I'll lay the fish on top of them, but this is fine. It's just a piece of parchment paper, and that'll be just great. So add some more lemon slices to the interior cavity, just like that, and then some parsley. All right, so now that we have that taken care of, we now have to just drizzle a little bit of olive oil on the top, like this. Okay, which will make it nice and tasty and keep it nice and moist too. I'll just take my fingers like that, rub it across here. When you're looking for fish, just make sure that the eyes are nice and clear and shiny. That is definitely a sign of a good fresh piece of fish. And I also ask the fishmonger, when did this come in? And they're usually pretty honest with me. So try and make sure your fish is as fresh as possible. It is very, very perishable. So you want to cook it the same day or a day later at the most. Very often they do not get fresh fish in on a Sunday. So if you're shopping on a Monday, make sure that it has come in that day and not from, it's not from Saturday. Okay, so we have the fish all nice and greased up with some olive oil. I'm going to add a little bit more salt, just like that, just a sprinkle. And that's all there is to it. Your fish is now ready to go into a very hot 450-degree oven, and we're going to cook this for 20 minutes, okay? Whether your fish is a pound or a pound and a quarter, 20 minutes will be perfect. And one of the reasons I love cooking whole fish with the bones and the skin and everything is that it keeps the fish, the flesh, really moist, and it also adds a lot of flavor. So the tricky part is just deboning it, but I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, we're off to the oven. Okay, we're back. These were in the oven for 20 minutes at 450 degrees. They are ready to go. And now I'd like to show you how to debone them. So they can be a little intimidating for your guests. So you may want to do this for your guests. So I wouldn't serve this to like 20 people because that would be like chaos for you. But if you want to do this for like 6 people, I think that it's totally manageable. So what we're first going to do is just get like 2 large spoons. I find this to be easiest to work with. And I start by removing the head. And you can find like a natural sort of break where the head just comes off really easily like that. Okay. And just scoop out some of the filling from the cavity just so it makes it easier for you to really get in there. And then I like to just take off the tail, which also should, there should be like a natural break in the bone. So you'll remove this. And then I scoop off this there's like a little fatty area on the bottom and some bones, okay? And you can kind of like feel it, just like that, okay? So you remove that, and then I remove the top part as well. Maybe I'll put this on the plate so you can see it more easily. So just take your spoon and you can see how that top bone just comes right out with all these little bones attached, just like that. Okay, now it's almost impossible to get every single bone. Don't worry if you don't. That doesn't mean you didn't do a good job. I often go to restaurants and there's still a bone or two. Just do the best that you can. So now I'm going to take my spoon and carefully separate the two fillets like this. So just get under there and then flip it open. And then you should be able to remove this interior, this big one. Okay, try not to get too much of that meat off though. You want to eat that. So that looks great. And then I will often just take my finger and run it across just to see, oh, I missed one or two here, and you can just remove those. But otherwise, you should have gotten most of them. Oops, I got a whole chunk of them right here. And that looks good. Okay, so then what you can do, any little bits of fat or skin, you can take that off as well. Some people like to eat the skin. And then what I will do right now is I like to take some really good olive oil, like a nice fruity bottle, and then just hit it with a little bit like that, or maybe a lot. And then a pinch of Maldon salt, like not even a pinch, half of a pinch. And then a little squeeze of lemon on top. And that's it. And then time to dig in. That is so good. And it's so simple. I mean, it's just perfectly moist and light and clean tasting. This will go with anything and everything. It was so easy to prepare, and it was really even quick to debone as well. I hope that you make this because it's really one of my favorite types of fish to make, and it's a real treat.